Welcome back to Crime Podcast, everyone, and buckle up because episode 19 of our Unsolved Mystery series is going to be a wild ride. Today, we're diving deep into a case that really gripped India. The death of Sister Abhaya. So picture this. It's 1992, St. Pius ex-convent in Kottayam, Kerala. And a young nun is found dead in a well. Now, initially, it seemed like an open and shut case suicide. But the thing is,
The people who knew Sister Abhaya best, her family and friends, they immediately rejected that suicide theory. They just couldn't reconcile it with her strong faith and, her generally upbeat personality. So right from the start, there were these cracks in the official narrative.
it's like everyone had this gut feeling that something just wasn't right, and then you start to see those little inconsistencies popping up, like the injuries on Sister Abhaya's body pointing to a struggle. And her slippers were found a good distance away from the well. Also, they were discarded in a hurry. Those details just don't fit with the suicide, do they?
No, they really don't. Those weren't just minor discrepancies. They were red flags, like screaming that something much darker may have happened. And you'll see as we get deeper into this, those inconsistencies really fueled the suspicion of foul play and this growing belief that the truth was being deliberately covered up.
So we have a suspicious death, a community demanding answers, and this cloud of suspicion hanging over everything. What happened next? Did the investigation gain any traction?
Well, unfortunately, the initial investigation just hit a wall. Years went by without any significant progress, and you can imagine. That just fueled public outrage and speculation. That lack of answers led many to believe that influential figures might be involved in obstructing justice.
It's heartbreaking to think about the anguish Sister Abhaya's family and friends must have felt during those years. It must have felt like their pleas for a thorough investigation were falling on deaf ears. But then finally in 1995, there was a major development that shifted the entire trajectory of the case.
All right, you're talking about the Central Bureau of Investigation, the CBI taking over the case. Public pressure had reached a boiling point, and the CBI is known for handling high-profile and complex cases. So them stepping in was a major turning point. But even they faced enormous challenges. Evidence went missing, witnesses claimed they were being threatened, and there were even allegations of tampering with forensic findings. A key piece of evidence, a bottle of pesticide, disappeared under suspicious circumstances, which led many to believe there was a deliberate effort to sabotage the investigation.
Wow, it sounds like every time investigators got close to something, another obstacle appeared. It's as if someone was determined to keep this case shrouded in mystery. But despite the roadblocks the CBI pressed on, and after more than a decade of relentless investigation, they had a major breakthrough.
That's right. In 2008, the CBI arrested two priests from the convent where Sister Abhaya lived, Father Thomas Kotur and Father Jose Puthrical. They also arrested a nun, Sister Sefi.
Okay, so now we have three individuals from within the convent itself at the center of this investigation. That must have sent shockwaves through the community. What was the CBI's theory behind their alleged involvement?
Well, the CBI's theory was a dramatic one. They believed that Sister Abhaya had accidentally stumbled upon an illicit encounter involving the two priests and Sister Sefi. And to prevent her from revealing what she had seen, they allegedly murdered her and then staged the scene to look like a suicide.
That's a chilling thought. But was there any hard evidence to support this theory, or was it largely circumstantial?
It's where things get even more complicated. The CBI relied on a combination of circumstantial evidence, witness testimonies, and what they believed were inconsistencies in the alibis of the accused. It was a complex web of information, and some of it was undoubtedly open to interpretation.
So these arrests must have been a huge turning point in the case. Did it feel like justice for Sister Abhaya was finally within reach?
It certainly seemed that way for many people. These arrests brought a renewed sense of hope for those who had been fighting for answers for so long. But the legal battle that followed was anything but straightforward.
That's often the case with these high-profile investigations, isn't it? The courtroom becomes another battleground. What were some of the key challenges the prosecution faced during the trial?
Well, you have to think about the intense pressure surrounding this case. You have religious figures accused of a heinous crime allegations of cover-ups, and years of speculation and public scrutiny. It was a legal battle fraught with challenges. Key witnesses retracted their earlier statements, casting doubt on the reliability of their testimonies, and the defense argued that the CBI's case was weak and relied too heavily on circumstantial evidence.
It's as if the truth was constantly slipping away, hidden behind layers of conflicting accounts and legal maneuvering. But after nearly 3 decades, the court finally delivered its verdict in 2020. What was the outcome of this long and arduous legal battle?
In a landmark decision, the court found Father Thomas Kotor and Sister Sephi guilty of Sister Abhaya's murder. They were both sentenced to life imprisonment.
Wow. A life sentence. That must have been an emotional moment for everyone involved. After decades of uncertainty and legal battles, to finally see those responsible held accountable. But even with this verdict, I imagine there are still some lingering questions, right?
Absolutely. Despite the convictions, there are still unresolved issues that cast a shadow over the case. What about all that missing evidence we discussed earlier, and the allegations of a cover-up that potentially reached into higher levels of power?
It makes you wonder if we'll ever get the complete picture, the full truth behind Sister Abhaya's tragic death. Even with a court verdict, a sense of mystery remains. It leaves us to grapple with the possibility that some secrets might never be fully revealed.
It really makes you think, doesn't it, about how some secrets might just stay buried forever.
It does, and it also makes you think about the incredible courage it took for people to keep pushing for the truth in this case, to go up against those powerful institutions and challenge such deeply ingrained systems. They refused to let Sister Abhaya's story be forgotten, and ultimately their persistence helped ensure that justice, even though it was delayed, wasn't completely denied.
Their determination is really inspiring. It shows how strong the human spirit can be when it comes to fighting for justice. Sister Abhaya's case isn't just a tragic story. It's a story about resilience, courage, and the power of people coming together to demand accountability. It also highlights the crucial role of institutions like the CBI in holding individuals accountable no matter how powerful they are. The fact that 2 priests and a nun were convicted in this case sends a clear message that no one is above the law.
This deep dive has been a tough one, full of twists and turns, legal batters, and unanswered questions. But it's a story that needed to be told, a story that shows us how important it is to fight for what's right, even when it feels impossible.
It definitely is. It reminds us that finding the truth can be a long and difficult journey. But the fact that we keep searching for it shows that we still have hope for justice.
Well said. Thank you for joining us for episode 19 of CrimePod Castle's Unsolved Mystery Series. We really dove deep into the complexities of Sister Abhaya's case today, exploring the twists and turns of the investigation, the challenges of uncovering the truth, and the lasting impact of her story.
It's a case that stays with you, reminding us how important it is to seek justice, challenge those in power, and never give up on the search for the truth.
And if you were as captivated by this episode as we were, please subscribe to Crime Podcast and share it with your friends. Let's keep exploring these mysteries together, questioning the narratives we're given, and never stop searching for answers. Until next time, stay curious, stay informed, and keep those minds open.